Hey guys, Sonny from Gracie Bradenton here. Remember to like, subscribe, and hit the bell, ding dong. We have a question, looks like it came through. It says, it would be really fascinating to hear your thoughts on how BJJ transfers to self-defense. How good you need to get at takedowns to deal with a random aggressor, and how much do you think starting from standing and involving strikes changes the potential outcome of a fight for a BJJ practitioner? Thanks in advance. So I feel like you asked 19 questions in that little sentence. So let's go by this like one at a time. On how BJJ transfers to self-defense. Well, obviously, I think it transfers pretty well. Because if it didn't, I wouldn't be a jiu-jitsu black belt. I wouldn't have spent 10 years going through injuries and sweat and blood and getting the shit kicked out of me every day on the mat if I didn't think it was the most effective martial art in the world. Okay? So, do I think BJJ translates to self-defense? Yeah, I do. I think it translates very well. Probably better than anything else in the world. And it's actually kind of crazy to me because I've seen posts and stuff on the internet where actual BJJ black belts will say shit like BJJ isn't good for self-defense. And I don't know what it is. Maybe they got an agenda. Maybe they're running a Krav Maga school on the side. I don't know. But I have seen some black belts say that shit, and it's weird to me. It's weird. It's like, then why do you do jiu-jitsu? You could do any other. If you think some other martial art is superior to jiu-jitsu, then go do that. I don't know, why are you doing jiu-jitsu then? For the fun of it? I wouldn't do something unless it was helping me, unless it was a completely effective method of self-defense. I wouldn't be doing it. So that's kind of a weird thing to ask, I guess. But anyway, how good do you need to get at takedowns to deal with a random aggressor? That's more of an interesting question, because a guy on the street who doesn't train jiu-jitsu, he's not going to know what the hell he's doing, especially if they've never wrestled, they've never done anything like that. Like basically, and they're going to fall down. I mean, it doesn't take much to take somebody down, you know. I've taken down some guys in tournaments, and I don't do stuff. I don't wrestle too much because I've got bad knees, so I'm a guard puller. But I have done some takedowns in tournaments and stuff like that. And I mean, if you've got any sense of base whatsoever, you're going to get your takedown on somebody who doesn't know what they're doing. And obviously, size and strength and athleticism all factor into that. It's probably going to be harder to take down an NFL linebacker. Even if he doesn't train jiu-jitsu, it's going to be harder to take that guy down than some rando in the street who's your weight. But generally speaking, if you do a basic single or a basic double or a basic hip toss or just a basic football tackle for that matter, you can take most people down in the street. Getting people down, that people who don't train, getting those people to the ground is typically not a problem. Let's move on here. Starting from standing and involving strikes changes the outcome. Yeah, I think every BJJ school should be practicing strikes. We do that every Friday here. We do jiu-jitsu with strikes. I think it's very important because there are positions in jiu-jitsu that if you try to do them in the street, it's a bad idea. Like, I wouldn't play bottom half guard in the street. I mean, typically if the guy's a dummy and he doesn't know what he's doing, like, even a sport practitioner will probably have everything work. Everything will be successful. But if you've got someone who knows even a little bit, maybe you're coming across a wrestler, guy wrestled in high school or something. So, he's not just gonna fall over every time you do something. It might be a little bit more difficult to deal with a guy like that. So it's important to know when you're in a compromised position in jiu-jitsu, bottom half guard, bottom mount. You don't want to be in positions like that in a street fight. I don't want to be on the bottom at all in a street fight. So when it comes to a street fight, I'll fight for my takedown. I won't just pull guard. I will never pull guard in a street fight. I mean, unless I've exhausted every other option that there is on the table, I'm going to try to take my opponent to the ground. What else? I think that pretty much covers it. I mean, there's a lot to say about real fights because there's no rules, and it's a different animal. It really is. It's a different animal. So one of the things that I like to do, I think, one of the things that really helps prepare my jiu-jitsu practitioners for real fights is to keep putting them into situations where their anxiety gets raised. Okay, so in other words, maybe once a week I'll part the room. I'll have everybody get up against the wall and call out 2 people and have them roll in front of everybody, right? And then I'll do that with random people until I get through everybody, so that everybody has to roll in front of the whole class watching. Stuff like that elevates their anxiety, and it makes it more realistic, because the more you have to deal with anxiety, the better you're going to be at dealing with anxiety when stuff goes down in a real fight. So, I'd rather the first time you feel that anxiety be in here on the mats or at a tournament or something like that. I don't want it to be in the street. So we do a lot of things to keep the anxiety levels up. The Jiu-Jitsu with Strikes class that I mentioned that we do on Fridays. Nothing will raise your anxiety like getting punched in the face, right? You get hit a couple times, you realize, okay, this is a bad position for me. I need to change things up. I need to make something happen. Your anxiety levels raise a little bit, and then you see how you act under real pressure. So that's a long answer. I hope that answers your question. It was kind of a oddly phrased question. No offense to the person who asked the question, but there was a lot going on. There was a lot to talk about. So apologize if I went a little long-winded on that one. Anyways, remember to like, subscribe, hit the bell, ding dong.